August 6th is known worldwide as the Hiroshima Day, and I am here to convey a message on the impact of using nuclear weapon. We all are aware about the fact that during the World War II, Japan had attacked the Pearl Harbor in USA, and as a counterattack, USA had dropped an atom bomb named Little Boy in Hiroshima and Fat Man in Nagasaki. And the impact of using that bombs is still being suffered by the population of Japan. Given this reality, we must heed the Hibakusha, the man who described a living hell, says, "For the future of humanity, we need to help each other, live in peace and happiness with reverence for all life." The woman who was covered in blood appeals to coming generation to make the most of the life we have been given. Please, everyone, shout loudly that we don't need nuclear weapons. If we accept these appeals, we must do far more than we have been doing. Hiroshima Day is an opportunity to raise awareness about the threat of nuclear weapons and the dangers of nuclear energy. It's the perfect time to urge our leaders to declare a nuclear-free, peaceful world. So, I'm concluding with the slogan: abolish nuclear weapon, build lasting world peace.
മോളെ ഇക്കൊക്കെ സ്കൈലാൻഡ് ആണ് ഉണ്ടാക്കണേ. ഇതാണ് സ്കൈലാൻഡ്. കണ്ടാ, ഇതാണ് ക്രെയിൻ മോളെ.
നല്ല ഭംഗിയുണ്ട്. ഇക്കൊക്കെ കളർഫുൾ ആയി ഉണ്ടാക്കി വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടല്ലോ. ഇതെന്തിനാണ് ഇക്കൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാക്കണേ?
ഹിരോഷിമ നാഗസാക്കി നട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ജപ്പാനിലെ 2 സിറ്റീസിന്റെ പേരാണത്. 1945 ഓഗസ്റ്റ് 6-നും 9-നും ഈ 2 സ്ഥലത്ത് ന്യൂക്ലിയർ ബോംബ് ആക്രമണം ഉണ്ടായി. ഈ ആക്രമണത്തിൽ 2 ലക്ഷത്തിന് മുകളിലായിട്ട് ആൾക്കാർ മരിച്ചു. മോളെ, നമ്മൾ ഈ സ്കൈലാൻഡും ക്രെയിൻസും ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത് ആ ദിവസത്തിന്റെ ഓർമ്മയ്ക്കായിട്ടാണ്. നമ്മളെ ലാമ്പൊക്കെ റെഡി ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ നിന്നോട് പറയാൻ മറന്നുപോയി, ഇന്നാണ് ഹിരോഷിമ നാഗസാക്കി ഡേ.
For the memory of Hiroshima Nagasaki Day.
Today, I'm going to narrate a story behind why children make paper cranes in the memory of Sadako Sasaki. It is said that when she was just 2 years old, an atomic bomb explosion had been taking place where she lived. She was just 2 kilometers away from where the bomb has been exploded. But she wasn't injured in any way that people could see. It was up until that time when she was in 7th grade. She was a normal happy girl until one day she had an athletic race in which she helped her team win. But after the race, she felt extremely tired and dizzy. But this tiredness left her, leaving Sadako to think that it was from the exertion of the race that made her feel tired. But this did not stop there. It came again and again. She experienced more of these incidents later on. It was that one day she felt really tired that she fell down, and her classmates had to call her teacher to know what's wrong with her. Her parents then took her to the Red Cross hospital. The doctors then came and claimed that she had leukemia, a kind of blood cancer. Nobody could believe it. Many people over there died with this cancer. At that time, leukemia was called a bomb disease. She was really sad and scared because she wanted to go back to school and learn and play like other kids of the same age, but she couldn't do so because she had to stay in the hospital where she cried and cried. Well, however, after some time, her friend Shizuko came to visit her. She had some origami papers with her, which is also known as folding papers. She sat beside Sadako and said her story about a legend. It was a story about a crane. She said this crane lived over 100 years, and if anyone who is sick folds 1,000 paper cranes, he or she would soon get better. Hearing this, with the hope of getting better, Sadako started to fold 1,000 cranes. Seeing her in this state, doctors and other people around her started to claim that she would soon get better. After folding over 500 cranes, she was getting out of paper. So she folded anything she could get her hands on, medicine wrappers, recipes that other nurses and other patients gave her. She was unstoppable. She folded anything she could get her hands on. But after a while, she noticed that other people around her was not getting better, or they were simply dying. So each time she folds a crane, she will say to it, "I will write peace on your wings and you shall fly all over the world." It was on October 25th which her death was taking place. She ate something and said it's good, and after that she had passed away. With that, I'm concluding my story. I hoped all of you liked it. Thank you.
How beautiful are these paper cranes and their lanterns? What is the story behind it?
Hi friends, I will give you a brief description about the incident happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. On August 6, 1945, during World War II, an American B-29 bomber dropped the world's first deployed atomic bomb over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. The explosion immediately killed an estimated 80,000 people. Tens of thousands more would later die of radiation exposure. 3 days later, a second B-29 dropped another A-bomb on Nagasaki, killing an estimated 40,000 people. Japan's Emperor Hirohito announced his country's unconditional surrender in World War II in a radio address on August 15th, citing the devastating power of a new and most cruel bomb. The Manhattan Project. Even before the outbreak of war in 1939, a group of American scientists became concerned with nuclear weapon research being conducted in Nazi Germany. In 1940, the US government began funding its own atomic weapons development program, which came under the joint responsibility of the Office of Scientific Research and Development and the War Department after the US entry into World War II. The US Army Corps of Engineers was tasked with spearheading the construction of the vast facilities necessary for the top secret program, codenamed the Manhattan Project. Hiroshima, a manufacturing center, was selected as the first target. After arriving at the US base on the Pacific island of Tinian, more than 9,000-pound uranium-235 bomb was loaded aboard a modified B-29 bomber. The plane dropped the bomb known as Little Boy by parachute at 8:15 in the morning, and it exploded 2,000 feet above Hiroshima, which equals destroying 5 square miles of the city. Hiroshima's devastation failed to elicit immediate Japanese surrender, however, and on August 9, Major Charles Sweeney flew another B-29 bomber, Boxcar, from Tinian. Thick clouds of the primary target, the city of Kokura, drove Sweeney to a secondary target, Nagasaki, where the plutonium bomb Fat Man was dropped at 11:02 in the morning. More powerful than the one used at Hiroshima, bomb weighed nearly 10,000 pounds and was built to produce a 22 kiloton blast.
Good afternoon. My name is Balagopal and today we are going to talk about the positives of nuclear energy. E equals mc square, the famous equation derived by Albert Einstein, which gave birth to the two nuclear bombs which were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We've heard a lot of negatives about these equations, but in a way we can put this equation to an advantage. An advantage which can help us as well as our future generations and our own environment. But these advantages are not known very well. Nuclear energy is one of the most low carbon energy sources. It has the smallest carbon footprint. It is essential to our response towards global warming and greenhouse gas emissions. It is really reliable and very cost effective. The intensive development of nuclear energy can be considered to be a mean of combat to the global warming. The environmental effects caused by these nuclear energies are comparatively lighter than those like burning fossil fuels. So, in a way, science can be a welfare to mankind. Let's all put this to the positive side. Nuclear energy isn't just about destruction, but it can also help us and our future generations and our own environment. Thank you and have a nice day.
Remember and let us pay tribute to war victims. No more Hiroshima and Nagasaki. To grow up, not to blow up.